Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, y'all. Welcome back to the OS Rick project. I hope you're having a wonderful day, wonderful evening. How are you guys? Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. I had to look at down. I was like, "Am I recording again?" Like, I always had a bad habit of just like hit record, but not setting which mic to record. Anyways, guys, how are y'all? What you been up to? What have y'all been playing? What's going on? What you been watching? All that good stuff. Hope everything is well on y'all's end of the world, guys. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. So what's up, guys? Let's get right into it. What have I been up to, guys? Let me see. I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil 4. I finished it. Had a good time. I want to play some more. I like it a lot. I did try playing. I went back and tried playing it on. I think what's the next difficulty above hard mode or something, and it's a challenge. I mean, those guys are bullet sponges. So I was like, you know what? Let me go back to normal mode and let me go around and get all the things that I missed along the way, destroying the blue medallions, collecting all the upgrades, doing all the side quests and all the collectibles. So I plan on going back and playing that more of that game because it was just a really fun experience. And again, guys, I know this. I said this 100 times. I never played the OG version, but this one, I had such a good time, such a great time. I would strongly recommend it that you guys enjoy it also and play it and give it a shot. I've been playing it on the PC. I've had a couple of issues. It's only because I've been trying out, also been trying out changing some parameters on the GPU that I'm using. I did have it like undervolted, and at some point of the game started crashing. But I think that's just me messing with the GPU itself. Excuse me. But other than that, though, I mean, it's been running fun. It's been running well, and I've been having lots of fun. The graphic settings, when it comes to the Capcom side, there were some issues here and there, but nothing major. Nothing that's gonna like take you away from the game. But I've been having a really good time enjoying it. Play it, guys. Check it out. I also went and started playing since I was on a Resident Evil kick, right? I started playing Resident Evil 3, the one we play as Jill and Carlos and Nemesis. And that's also, I actually had a I had some fun moments on that one. It wasn't, I don't feel like, I don't enjoy it as much as I did Resident Evil 2. Playing as Jill was cool. She's a fun character. Playing as Carlos was also a fun character. And the whole cast and everything, really fun. But the game was super short. It felt it and I was talking to and I was talking to chat along the way, and it felt like Nemesis just felt like he was kind of scripted, like when he was coming on, and when he was coming, and it sucks because I remember playing it, and mind you guys, it was a long time ago. I remember playing Resident Evil Nemesis way back when, a long time ago when it came out back in '98, I believe, late '90s. And I remember Nemesis, I just liking that character model so much. I thought he was so cool. And then I played him again when he got released on Marvel versus Capcom, MVCI, Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, and I played Nemesis, and I had such a really good time. And I've always enjoyed his character model, the way he looks. He has a tentacle that comes out. He's equipped with a rocket launcher. He just has staples across his face. All you see is that grin, one eye, and he has that that big old heavy covered industrial tactical duster or trench coat, whatever. But I always enjoyed his model. On this one, I see him. He just looks like a tyrant wrapped up in like electrical tape. I don't like his looks. I don't like how he's presented. By the third encounter, the way he acts and his mannerisms and what he does, it was just like, oh, I mean, not that Nemesis had any depth to him at all. He was just kind of there just to like make you, go through the story and speed you up, similar to like Master X was in RE2. But I just saw him and I was like, man, he just became like a beast instead of some, you know, bio-organic machine that's just here to kill you and kill you only. But um, I finished the game in like 3 sessions, and I streamed all of it, so you guys could check it out. I finished it last night. I've been having fun with it. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was cool. You know, if I would have purchased it at full price when it released at $59.99, I probably would have been a little bit upset. I would have felt like, wow, I got shortchanged. And again, a lot of the gang in chat was telling me that yeah, a lot of stuff was cut out from the original game, and they reused some assets from Resident Evil 2, which that part I did like. I did enjoy going back into the RPD building. But if I would have paid full price and got this game, I would have been a little bit upset. Fortunately for me, I mean, I got it years after its re-release, and I bought it during the Steam winter sale for $10. So at $10, yes, yes, it's good. If you guys get it at that deal, I think it'll be a fun game. But anything more than that, I don't know. I mean, unless you really love going back and doing speed runs, which I'm not a fan of, you could do that. And then what else, guys? Have been playing? Just mostly those two games for the most part. I do want to go back into Resident Evil 2. I want to do Claire B side and Leon B side and finish that up, and then maybe continue going on a freaking Resident Evil ride and maybe revisit 7 and 8 and stuff like that. Or the very first one. I don't know. But that's what I've been playing for the most part. Work's been fine. Coming back after a vacation, you know how it is, guys. You take one whole week off to do whatever you want, and then it's like back to the grind. It's like, oh, but it's okay. I got another one coming up in 2 months, like right the week after Street Fighter 6 launches. So that first week, the game will launch. It'll have all the servers issues, and then maybe hopefully by the next week when I jump in, we'll be in a good spot, ready to roll, and just start playing the game. So vacation will be here before we know it. What do we want to talk about first, guys? What do we want to talk about first? And if anything pops up, I'll just bring it up as it comes along, guys. Since we're still on video games, Street Fighter, let's talk about the upcoming announcement that Capcom had about the Capcom Showcase coming out on 420, featuring Lil Wayne, and they're gonna be talking about Street Fighter 6. Like, it's gonna be I think they said like a 20 to 30 minute presentation on some going in depth on the game, which I'm super excited for. Of course, everybody was asking why isn't Lupe Fiasco back to get the run back on for Daigo to get the run back on Lupe. Poor Lupe must have got he got one and done, and he just took it, got his win, and took off. But they're gonna have Lil Wayne doing the presentation, which is pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of Lil Wayne. I don't listen to his stuff, but you know what? If it could get more eyeballs onto it, I'm all for it. I have no issues with that. That's pretty cool. I don't even know if he's a fan of Street Fighter. I'm guessing maybe he is, or Capcom just gave him a lot of money. I'm not too sure. But yeah, hopefully with this showcase they're having, it was rumored that there's going to be like a possible chance that there will be one more beta for the game. And in my opinion, I would say that would be a good move if they do that. You want to make sure your servers are ready. You want to do all the stress tests. You want to make sure it can handle everything, because yes, the game will be the servers will be overloaded. It will be crazy. It'll be getting connections will be rough, but if they can temper it and make it an experience that's, make it still a user experience to want to go in and play. I think they should try that out. I mean, and test it as much as they can, right? Because I mean, we all know anytime there's a game that has online playability, compatibility, you want to make sure. It's going to be busy and hectic. It just is. Everybody's going to rush servers. You got to test it. So hopefully, and it was rumored, guys, because I think one streamer just casually kind of dropped it in their stream. So hopefully they'll announce one more beta. That way, just get everybody ready. And also, guys, the last two betas that they had were, I think they were like invite only. They were closed betas. So hopefully, we're gonna get as much people in there and get the game. I've already talked to a lot of my friends, a lot of my online buddies, and the ones that drop by and chat, and they said that a lot of them are pre-ordering the game. I think Street Fighter 6 is on a lot of people's radar, at least when it comes to playing the people who play fighting games. So I think it's gonna have a strong showing. I mean, it can only be better than 5. I mean, maybe not all of y'all were there at launch, but when Street Fighter 5 came out, it was rough, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but 6 can only be better at this point, and right now it's shaping up to be on course for that. Let's see, what do we got, guys? Oh, yeah. So speaking of video games, guys, the Monster Energy drink um, has put in complaints to the Japanese Trade and Patent Office for Pokemon and Monster Hunter for having Monster in their name. It's like, didn't they do this with Ubisoft a couple of years ago with Monsters, with Gods and Monsters? And Ubisoft said, you know what, we don't want none of this mess. We're just going to change the name to Immortal Phoenix Rising. It's like, can you really trademark just like a name like that? I mean, Monster? I mean, to me, that just sounds odd, weird, and just a complete overreach. And honestly, I mean, they're partially owned by Coca Cola. Monster is. Um, Pokemon's up there. It's big. I think they have the pockets. I mean, even then, like, I don't think it. I mean, I don't know. I was looking around when I was looking at the story, and I saw different articles where the Monster brand has gone after, a lot of small time business owners and just any type of business that has the monster or anything that looks similar to their logo because they might confuse the identity of the brand, which to me is just freaking ridiculous. I think it's just these companies just having way too much money and not enough time. It's just so just keep an eye out for that, guys. It's interesting, right? Yeah, Monster Hunter and Pokemon. Like, what about you? Want? I think I want to see them try that. Try that on Disney. Go after Monsters Inc. See what happens. See what happens. Go get some deep pockets. See what happens, right? Um, Tokyo Wire, Ghost Wire Tokyo. Sorry, Tokyo Wire. Ghostwire Tokyo. The devs are adding de novo to the game 1 year after launch. It originally came out in March 25th, 2022, and it was exclusive for PlayStation. Now it's coming out for the Xbox Series X and S. It came out for those consoles on the 12th, so midway through this week. So they're adding de novo, and adding a DRM, a digital rights management. Yeah, you don't want your game to be like cracked and pirated, but I've also heard that it causes a lot of issues for performance. Just doing my light investigation, not even investigations, to call it an investigation would be an insult. But just looking around, looking at different articles, some people say, yeah, DRM does cause issues. Some say no, it is not. It hasn't shown enough proof. It also depends on what kind of system you have when it comes to PC gaming. Um, Honestly, just the fact that they're revisiting and adding it back, even though it's coming out for the Xbox consoles, I just find it strange. I don't know if they think that that's going to really cause any. I don't think anybody was clamoring to have this on the Xbox when this game came out, even though it is from a Bethesda studio, if I recall that correctly. Um, I don't know. I saw that and I was like, okay, I'll bring it up. I'll run it by you guys and y'all let me know what y'all think because like honestly, I don't think anybody played that game. I don't know. None of my circle of friends that play video games, I talked to them and I don't think it came out anybody's radar. And I remember seeing advertisements and along the way during its development, but nothing like I don't think it landed with anybody, and rightly so. I think it ended up being from some of the Japanese developers, but it was so influenced by Western studios that it just felt like a run of the mill Western game where you have just it just played everything. It checked all the lists just to sell to a Western audience, and I don't think it landed at all. So yeah, adding DRM de novo to a game that's already been out for a whole year that no one has talked about. I just someone thought that was a good idea. Um, I saw this one. This one. After saying, after thinking, making a podcast episode, calling it PSMR, PlayStation Master Race, where you start thinking, all right, maybe the consoles is a good spot to just get your games on day one because they're optimized for that console and that's probably what they're targeting. But apparently, Redfall, and according they tweeted this out, guys, the other day. Redfall is launching on the Xbox consoles with quality mode only. The Series X will play at 4K, 30 frames per second. Series S will be at 1440p at 30 frames per second. They also tweeted out that on the same tweet, they said the 60 frames per second performance mode will be added in an update at a later time. I don't understand all this stuff. Like here, I was thinking, all right, when it comes to the consoles, maybe when you give them enough time, they're gonna have it ready. But they don't even have a performance mode. That just doesn't make sense to me at all. Give him a little fat man. Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. Like, why would you guys just do that to yourselves? Just wait and give the players the option to, play at 60 frames per second. Okay, you can't play 4K 60 frames. Okay, fine, but let me play something at 60 frames per second. It's just, especially, I don't know. Look, I come I come to I approach video games as in a very competitive setting. Even though it's I don't they're not all competitive, right? But I see it like I want to get every frame I can get to make it the experience as smooth as possible, because the more frames you have, it's just the better. More response times, the way it looks, the more the visuals, just everything looks, in my opinion, just looks way better with more frames. When you're cutting yourself down just to 30 frames, I mean, look, guys, if there's some of you out there that say, "Oh, I can't tell the difference between 30 and 60," please get your eyes checked. Please get your eyes checked, because there is a stark difference between 30 and 60, and you can see it. Now, once you start getting up there, you go 120, 144, 165, you might get some diminishing returns, But from 30 to 60, you're going to notice that. And I don't know why developers think like this is like it's not the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, it's like why? I mean, if you're gonna do your game, finish it, make sure it's done. Not this whole we'll add performance mode later down the road. But anyways, guys, and honestly, it's Redfall. It's not been on my radar. I saw the gameplay I saw some gameplay being shown back from I want to say it was the Microsoft or Bethesda showcase or the Summer Game Fest back in the summer. I remember seeing it and I just was not impressed. I was like, oh, okay, a co-op vampire shooter. And didn't they say they were gonna have like online mode only? And they said, oh, we just want online mode. Check that, fact check that for me, guys, okay? But then they said they're gonna have an online mode only, just because they want to use it for the sole purpose just to see how their game performs. You don't think they will use it to see what kind of data, so they could what kind of microtransactions and character passes and season passes they should add? It just, I don't know. I mean, and I really thought, okay, maybe these guys are focusing more on the console side and instead of the computer PC side. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, delayed to February 2nd, 2024. This has to be, guys. I mean, I don't have I'm not privy to any insider information, but if I was just to guess, if I was just to speculate, I'm pretty sure that their showcase from the Sony State of Play back in February, they must have got so much backlash that they decided to keep it in the oven and wait and let the sucker. I don't even know if it's like keep letting it cook, but because I thought they were like almost getting ready to launch. It's just this game just looks bland. It just looks like what you would expect, from some action game. I want what comes to mind is Marvel's Avengers off rails. Like you're just like in an open area and it looks super floaty, and you're just doing a third person shooting. Like I don't know. I mean, look, maybe someone's looking out for it. Maybe if someone is really excited and they can't wait to get their hands on it. And if you are, please talk to me. Because I want to know why. I want to know why you like bad games. It's just from the get go, this game just seems like every time you see something on it, it's just getting pushed back. And look, I want the best for the developers. I want their hard work to pay off. But when you see something like this, when I see something like this, I just feel like who are you trying to get? comic book movies aren't a dime a dozen, but there's enough of them out there that it's just like you got to do something awesome, something special to make me want to get this one. And just having the IP of having these characters in there, I mean, King Shark, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's like the only like super popular one that I could think of. And I don't even know why Harley Quinn's still popular. Like she came out during the Batman animated series, and I guess people just really gravitated to her, and she's still popular. I don't know. Um, that game, I don't know. I mean, I keep saying I don't know. That's my go-to reference. I just hopefully this game will. It's not. It's not. I'm gonna. I can't sugarcoat it, guys. This game's just gonna be run of the mill. It's gonna come out. They're gonna have just the usual cosmetics, character passes, and then let's jump into it, guys. The main one for the games. Let's talk about on Thursday, on the 13th, we had the Sony State of Play for Final Fantasy 16. It was Mr. Naoki Yoshida, aka Yoshi P, aka Mr. Final Fantasy 14, was through a translator was telling you about the game. It was roughly a 25-minute presentation. They went in there and they talked about it. It's going to be on the PlayStation 5. I looked at some other resources. He didn't say it on that presentation, but I looked around and saw that it will be exclusive for the PlayStation 5 for 6 months. And then after that, maybe it goes to PC. And I talked to a lot of friends that it's PS5 exclusive, right? So I'm pretty sure it means just the PS5, not the PS4, guys. So all you plebs got to upgrade. Now, I do have some online buddies on Discord and chat who said that since it's coming out on PlayStation 5, they don't have one, nor do they want to get one for this game, and they're just going to wait till the PC port comes out. And then I heard them say that it might not even be relevant to their particular setup on their PC, because who knows how much optimization they'll be having with this game when it comes to PC. I mean, we saw Forspoken when it came out back in, was it January, February? Not really well optimized for the game. And then I started thinking about it. Is there any Square Enix games that have been ported over to the PC side that originally came out as console games that have been ported over to PC side and have been phenomenal? I can't say that there is. I can't say there is. Now, you could probably say Final Fantasy 14. Well, that's like MMO. It's kind of meant to be for the PC to begin with. I think it would be beneficial to play that on the PC. But I don't think I've seen any or heard any strong clamoring for Square Enix's ports to the PC. Even Final Fantasy 7, when it came out, you had some features that were lacking for the most part, that should have been probably obvious that when it came released on the PC. But yeah, like I said, I was like, listening to my friends on Discord, like, and who knows what kind of requirements you're gonna need if it comes out on PlayStation, what kind of GPU you're gonna need, or how much VRAM. And that's another conversation that we'll come back for GPUs, and we'll come back and talk about that later. But just and I watched the video twice, guys. I watched it when it came out on Thursday when I came home for lunch, and then I watched it again this afternoon before we did the podcast. So I watched it twice just so I could make sure, I made a mental note and jotted down what I first thought about the game, and then what my impressions were, and then I came and watched it again just to make sure that I still felt the same way or similar, or how much has changed. And just right out the gate, guys, from watching both the presentation twice, I will definitely say that the visuals look absolutely astounding. I think they look great. When you see the spells going off, the sword slashes, the particles, the movement, the way he dashes across the screen, the character models, I think they look phenomenal. It's great. I mean, and that's something that I cannot take away from Square Enix when it comes to the character designs, even though sometimes they have too many belt buckles on them. The characters and the landscapes, especially when it comes to the Final Fantasy series, is just superb. I like it. It's a style that when I look at it, I know when I'm looking at a Square Enix games. Um, the music, the music sounded just. It looked like it was standing shoulder to shoulder with the visuals. It was grand. It was wonderful. I liked it. It felt like it was fitting with the with all the parts that they were showing. Mind you, of course, I'm listening to the music through the YouTube video. So I mean, I don't have it on full blast, nor am I playing the game. But just what I saw from the videos, it looked great. It sounded great. It looked great. I like that. Now, of course, a game is only as fun as its mechanics, in my opinion. Uh, Beyond the surface level, looking at it, it felt like it was more of what I recall playing when I recalled playing Final Fantasy 15 with the boys, with Noctis and the boys, and Ignis and Prompto and Gladius. It looks like it's gonna be a lot of square, square, square. Wait till you stagger them, do some dodges, and then build up your meter, and then unleash your attacks on them. It doesn't look anything, and and even Yoshi P said this, and I quote: He says, "All combat is real time, and is not turn based." And they said it before in different interviews that they're going away from the turn based style. It's the turn based is not what the kids want. The kids want to push a button and see a reaction. They don't want to take turn and see the little white gloved finger attack, draw, action, item. They don't want to see that anymore, and it's unfortunate. And I've gone on detail about how I feel about that, guys, and it just feels like people who are my age, roughly, late 30s, the older millennials, you just don't get the Square Enix Final Fantasy turn-based anymore. Now, they're still out there. You can most definitely still get turn-based RPGs. You probably just won't see the Final Fantasy name attached to it. That being said, I mean, as a business perspective, at a business angle, that makes sense. You want to put this game in the hands of everybody. It's kind of like when they make movies and they make it rated PG or rated G, because they want everybody to come watch it and everybody to come play it. Um, uh, um, Looking through the video, looking through the gameplay, it looks like it does a lot of the safe things that you see in other games. It looked like you saw updates for your quest on the side. You saw little track markers for different parts in the location. You looked like you were able to, you have a certain talent tree and you put points in, then you expand it. They also have a feature where if you don't know what to put your points in, the system will do it for you. I guess they're using some sort of AI, or just I guess they look at what points you've been putting stuff in, and I guess they kind of try to make a build for you that's similar to your style. I mean, it doesn't look like it's breaking any boundaries. It looks like it's something you've seen before, and I think this conversation was had back when Elden Ring was released, where a lot of Western developers were criticizing Elden Ring because it's not the way they would make a game. And I think you saw some mock-up photos of how Elden Ring would look if it was developed by Ubisoft, where you'd see updates and hot bars and a really busy heads-up display. But that's the vibes I got from just looking at 16. Um, they also have they will have accessories to help you dodge, to help you auto attack, to help you time your attacks correctly. Evasions, they'll help you slow time to dodge attacks. Have single button uses for your attacks. It's a baby mode. It's a story mode. They're adding it. I mean, I've never had a mainline Final Fantasy game that had a story mode or easy mode. The game itself is a story mode. Um, this is it's catering to the new audience, guys. We're in a generation now where people don't want to play a game. Remember, guys, there is winners and losers set within a certain confined set of rules. But they don't want to play the game. They want a story. You go watch a movie, you read a book. Look, at the end of the day, guys, if it gets eyeballs on and people wanting to play, I used to say I like that. I'm all for it. But it almost feels like once everybody, when it becomes all inclusive and everybody can do the same thing, like what's the point? What stands out? And look, saying that you beat Final Fantasy or you beat a game or what you call it, it shouldn't like give you accolades or make you. But no, of course not. You know, it doesn't make you like a superior person. By no means, it doesn't. But at the same time, when everybody's doing the same thing at the same time and just and completes the challenges at it almost feels like, well, what game are you playing? What are you doing here? What are we doing here? So they're adding a story mode, and look, and no one wants to say that just because it's a story mode, you have to complete the story. Maybe there's some people who just don't are new to the style. They see, oh, Final Fantasy 16, I never played one. Let me get into it. I want to play. Oh, maybe action RPGs isn't their style. Maybe this kind of feature will help them get into the game, and then as they get more comfortable with the mechanics, maybe they can go into. I hope we have that feature where maybe you could switch it to normal mode and you could just start playing the game without having to use these accessories to guide you along the way. Look, at the end of the day, guys, you're gonna play whatever you want to play, and I'm not here to talk down on you. I'm not here to be holier than thou and tell you that you play games wrong. But there is, after a while, you start thinking about it, it's like, what are you doing here? What's the point? But yeah, they said they're gonna be having story modes. The story mode will basically adding all the accessories on at the beginning of the game. You'll be playing as Clive, and that's it. You'll be playing as Clive. That's the main protagonist. Sweat during different time periods in his life. The party members will be AI controlled, so I guess they'll just assist you, or I guess maybe it'll be like in some games where you could set it to attack, play aggressive, or use heals, or play moderate, or be passive. I don't know, maybe it'll be something like in that style. But that's something I kind of noticed when they first talked about it last summer or the summer before, when they had like a E3 presentation or a summer presentation about the game. Just looking at it, you saw some little character windows in the corner, but looking at it now, it feels like, yeah, I felt like what I predicted. It felt like it was going to be just you by yourself, and then the party members. I mean, I thought maybe you could maybe like Final Fantasy 7 remake, you could shift between them, but it looks like they're going to be just completely AI, and you're going to be on your own. Well, I mean, they'll be assisting you, but you'll just be playing as Clive on your own. You have Torble, your little dog assistant, which you can give direct commands. So I guess you'll be playing as Clive, and then maybe on some turn when you get prompted or certain actions, you can have Torble come in and assist you with extra damage or an assist or whatever. But and I did notice during the gameplay they had stagger meters under some of the enemies. So I don't know if you guys have played Final Fantasy 13 with lightning, but that's when I first started noticing the use of stagger bars, where you start causing enough damage to an enemy, exploiting their weaknesses, hitting them with fire spells or whatever they're weak to, or certain points and areas. And put the dog down, guys. It'll eventually cause the stagger bar to fill up, and once they are staggered, they are completely vulnerable to your attacks, wide open. You just start going ham on them. We seen that in Final Fantasy 13. We saw them use that mechanic in Final Fantasy 7 remake, and it looks like we're going to see it again in Final Fantasy 16. Me personally, I kind of have no issues with the stagger mechanic. It feels like it'll fit that type of gameplay well. It'll complement it well. So for the way they're going, I think it'll be perfect for that game. Certainly I don't think it would fit in a turn-based game, because you're not, you have time for it to cool down and stuff. But yeah, I've noticed that the stagger bar has been returning. Again, they had destination markers. You could upgrade your weapons and armor, but that's kind of goes with a lot of RPG games you see now. Hunt board bounties, and then I was looking at on Reddit. They said that the world map will be similar to Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy 13, where, if you guys remember, a lot of the previous Final Fantasies from 9 on down, you basically had a world to go explore. You run around. Sometimes they kind of blocked off some regions of the game using some of the nature to funnel you through the game. But for the most part, if you were able to go explore, go to the woods, go to the cave, and then from there go to the other side of the caves and then go to the Condor, and then go to Juno, and then go across the sea and see Costa del Sol. This one is kind of like 10 and 13, where you'll see the map and then you pick a destination to land or go to and visit, and then it'll open up to an area and then you can go explore. I'm personally not a fan of that, but then again, this game is not meant for me. It's meant for the newer audience, which is probably fine. I mean, they probably don't care or whatever, or so far removed from an actual open world. But then again, they're still open world games, right? They still exist. They still exist. It's just maybe for some reason Square Enix decided just to adopt this style again when it comes to the open world part. I think I saw. I can't confirm this, guys. But I think I saw it'll be coming out with a $70 price tag. How do you guys feel about that? At the $70 mark, par for the course. Do you expect it? Surprised? Does that make any difference to you wanting to buy it day one or not? I thought I was excited for it, but seeing all this, the demonstration, I feel like I'm just gonna just take a step back and wait. I'm sure it's gonna sell great. I'm sure it's gonna have a lot of crossover with a lot of the Final Fantasy 14 fans. A lot of Yoshi P has been able to, really do a good job at Final. From what I heard, do a really good job with Final Fantasy 14, and a lot of people love it. It's a great RPG, from what I hear. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a lot of players from that game to come over and play Final Fantasy 16, and just other just fans of the Final Fantasy series to come and get it. But I think myself personally, I think I'll take a step back and just wait, because I like what I see, but that's just it. I just what I see looks nice, but when it comes down to the actual mechanics of it, I don't think it's bringing anything that really excites or wows me. So we'll see how it'll remain to be seen and how it comes out and launches. But if I was to predict, it'll probably have good numbers. It'll probably be I wanted to say the best-selling game for that month, but then I think we have Street Fighter. We have Street Fighter and Diablo coming out, so we're gonna have to we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Anyways, guys, I gotta go check on the dog. Don't go anywhere. All right? I'll be right back. Pause. I don't have a pause button. What the hell? All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, the wife left me. She has an art show this weekend, so I'm having to listen for the bell for when the dogs need to go out. All right. So yeah, Final Fantasy 16. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Are you planning on getting it day one? Are you also going to be waiting? Are you in a situation where you do not have a PlayStation 5 and you're going to wait till it comes out on PC? Or do you feel like this will prompt you to get a PlayStation 5? Let me know. I'm really interested, guys. That game has so much history that, I mean, the franchise has been out for 35 years. Let's go into the GPU news, guys. Graphics cards. Nvidia, the RTX 4070 has launched this week with a $600 price tag, and AMD responded with lowering their price on their 6950 down to $610 just to compete with the 4070. How do you guys feel? Have y'all been fans of the 4070? Of the 40 series from Nvidia? Are you team red, team blue? Do you have both? What are your thoughts on this, guys? Me personally, I think the 4070 is probably little too pricey for what it is, for what it brings to the table. I think it should have came out at $499. 12 gigs of VRAM. And yes, Nvidia does a great job with DLSS and ray tracing. If that's what you want, Nvidia's for you. If you like streaming, I will give it the edge to Nvidia. I like their NVEC when it comes to stuff, and when it comes to their using it on OBS for their encoder. I will give it that to Nvidia. I do like that. I enjoy it. Not that AMD can't do that. It just can't do ray tracing as good as Nvidia. It's a proprietary system that Nvidia has, and the encoder on OBS. Although they have one for AMD, it just isn't. I don't think it's as nifty, as useful as the one for Nvidia. That being said, guys, it coming out with 12 gigs of VRAM, I feel like at that price point, it probably should have been a little bit more. And especially with games coming out on the PC side, where if you play at 1080p max settings with 8 gigs, you're probably going to be fine. Now, when you start pushing it to 1440 4K, that's going to eat up a lot of that, especially if you want to be using ray tracing on the NVIDIA cards. And of course, I mean, ray tracing, I know a lot of people who just don't care, don't even turn it on, because the impact that it has on the performance, it just is too much, and rather not play with it. I know some people who like to have all the particles, all the effects, all the lighting, all the ray tracing, and that's a very viable option. Then NVIDIA is the way for you to go. But I was having a conversation about how much longer do you think 8 gig VRAM GPUs will be around, especially the way these games are coming out. And a lot of times they come out not properly optimized for the PC side. And I'm not saying all of them, but there is some, and it could just really eat up all the VRAM when you're messing with the settings. So 8 gigs, and I was talking to Chad about this, maybe another 2 years, 3 years tops before 8 gigs will be inadequate. And it's just so many variables too, guys, because you mean, me personally, I love playing on 1080p 60 frames per second. It feels good. It feels great. I love it. I know some people who play at 1440 and 4K, and I mean, and the mileage is gonna vary per person on how much usage you can get out of your GPU and how much frames you want, and also depends on the game, right? How well it plays. I mean, recently Cyberpunk 2077 got a new update to get. I wish I remember what it was called, but I mean, I think it was like update to all the ray tracing and path. I want to say it's called some sort of path tracing, some new ray tracing on steroids from Nvidia. But look, one of the positives I did hear about the 4070 is it is really good on the power usage. It just sips on power compared to a lot of these other cards. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I have a AMD 6900 XT, and I undervolted that thing because I feel like it was just drawing way too much juice. I brought it down to 1100 millivolts and made some adjustments to that. So, I mean, there is some things to that, especially, with things being more expensive, energy bills, especially if you live down here in the South in the US, where the summers can get really hot and you have the AC going, the energy bill, I mean, it's only getting more expensive, right? So, I mean, and again, someone brought up the said that the only, it was my buddy Fizz, and he said that the 4090 is truly next gen when it comes to the Nvidia side of 40 series GPUs, and I think I'd agree with that. The 4090 is a beast of a card, hands down. It's massive. Once you start going below that, I think you start getting diminishing returns, whether it's the price to performance. I think there's other options there. But again, I mean, it's an open market. There's lots of cards to choose from. What suits you best. That'll be, the situation's gonna be different per person. So make sure you do some looking around, guys, because, and honestly, look, I know it sounds weird, but the 4070 Founders Edition, it's a 2-slot card, nice small form factor, easy on the power. It's a good looking GPU. Mind you, it's gonna be in a case, so you probably won't even see it. But There's some people who like to get their nice fancy cases, set it up, and make it a presentation and make it a desktop accessory. And I can see why. You know, I had one build with zero RGB. I kind of went back and put a little bit just to add some little flair to it, make it more specialized and make it more unique. But um, when it comes to the GPUs, guys, there is a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna tell you right now, guys. I think if you're building a computer, right now is a good time. With the 4070 not doing so great on the sales, I saw a lot of videos saying that they're just sitting on the shelves. AMD is lowering prices on their GPUs so they can compete with Nvidia. I think it's good. It's good for us, for the consumer. So do some research, guys. Look around. If you're gonna be want to be making your own computer, look around. There's lots of information, and take it from me, guys. I built a PC already. I had a really good time. It's fun. It really is. It's not as scary as it is, and the information is out there that'll help you and troubleshoot you and get you along the way. Just make sure you use reputable websites to get your parts, or use PC part picker to help you know what parts are compatible with what. They give you a lot of information, what power draw you're going to be using, what kind of power supply you should be getting, what's compatible. So just do some research, guys. But I think right now, with the launch of the RTX 4070, it not selling as great as Nvidia's hope. And also, I believe that when Nvidia says, "Oh, we're selling it at $599," I think they forced the market of thinking that GPUs like the 4090 coming out at $1,600, or the 4080 coming out at $1,100, and the 4070 coming out at $800. I think them constantly having those high prices that people start thinking, oh, when it comes out at 600, that's a good deal. But it's all going to vary, guys, depending on how much price to performance you want to pay, and what cards you're in the market for, and what uses you want it for, right? I mean, if you want ray tracing, it's a nice feature. It looks pretty. But I also believe ray tracing will be a feature for the high end GPUs. So you don't want to go taxing and dipping into or going over on the VRAM. So check that out, guys. Look that up. Going back to video games, I forgot to add this one. Resident Evil 4, they added some microtransaction DLC, so you can upgrade the weapons. And it was like, isn't there? Can't you just, like, if you play on PC, can't you just play with mods and add stuff like that and change it and alternate it? I just find it weird. I mean, of course, Capcom going to be Capcom. They're going to find ways to make money, whether it's a Street Fighter game, whether it's on Street Fighter, whether it's on Monster Hunter or Resident Evil. They're going to add little microtransactions for you. So just heads up. Oh, and also, guys, if you're playing Resident Evil 4 on the consoles, there's been a recent patch that came out to help with the performance on that. And I was looking at Digital Foundry, and they say they did some stuff that looks good. It's not not the best it could be, but it's better than it was compared to launch for the console. So make sure you guys check that out. One last thing I want to talk about, guys. I want to go on a rant, and I want to talk about it's not mostly video games, or it's not about video games. It's not about content creating. It's not about streaming. It's about just knowing what to look out for, guys. Not being distracted. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but they're trying to pass here in the U.S. the Restrict Act, which is basically a Patriot Act for the internet, where they kind of want to use it as, well, we're going to use it to go after TikTok, but in actuality, it's just a Trojan horse to go after anybody that they don't like on the internet, and just survey on you and stuff like that. Now, guys, I think it's important that we read up on this and know exactly what's going on, and also recognize that a lot of times, don't be distracted with what's going on with all the BS in the world, right? Where they're trying to tell you whether you can or can't drink Bud Light, or what's in the sky is being shot down, or what celebrity is doing this, like all that's all, or whatever Disney isn't or is doing, and the cultural wars, like all that stuff, guys, are distractions to keep us fighting among each other for stupid stuff over Twitter, and just get ratioed and all that BS. You got to look past that, guys. When they're trying to pass acts like this, like the Restrict Act, so they can like surveil on you and make it illegal to use VPNs, That's something we need to keep an eye out and look out for and be aware, because they will do that. If they could keep you dumb and stupid, they will. If they could take away your rights, they will. Okay? You don't get them back once they're gone. Okay? Look at the Patriot Act. That thing is still around. It doesn't make sense. They used it after, after they used it after 9/11, after everybody was, it was a rough time. People are emotionally unstable. And they use it. That's what they're doing now with the Restrict Act. They're saying it's for TikTok. But look, honestly, you guys, look, I don't like TikTok. I think it's terrible. I think it's a waste of time. I think what they do is the way they try to use it and target the kids and just rot the brains out. It's what it's done. That's what it's doing. There's no content. There's nothing to get there. You could find, when you say, "Oh, I'll get information from TikTok," you could find information anywhere but there. That being said, it's not above the American companies. It's not above Facebook. It's not above Twitter. It's not above any other social. They're all doing the same thing. They're all grabbing your data. They're all using it against you and getting your information so you could buy things. TikTok just happens to be under ByteDance, which is based out of, works from China. And of course, they're going to say that that's going to be an issue, but it's always been an issue. So guys, be aware. Keep your eyes open. Don't get distracted with the BS. Look around. See what's going on. Get informed. Okay, guys? That's all I wanted to say before. And I'm off my pulpit on my high horse. Guys, that's about it for me. I want to say thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Make sure you drop by on the streams. I like to stream randomly during the week. Lately, it's been Monday through... Lately, it's been... Well, this week was like all week because I wasn't on for the last 3 weeks, okay? I kind of took a little break, a little hiatus. I had to get my mind right. But my usual streaming days are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I'm going to try to stick to that schedule. Make sure you drop by, hang out. I'm not playing any fighting games right now. Guilty Gear is in a rough spot right now. They recently added those filthy Xbox players to the online play, and it's been causing a lot of problems for Arc System. But then someone says it's a person named Hackerman doing all this stuff, but then ArcSys says it's not. So I don't know what's going on with it. So I haven't been playing fighting games just because, like, well, I mean, there's a lot of, I've been playing Resident Evil and I'm having a good time with it. But, I stream, fighting games or just single player games, Elden Ring. I'm looking at you. I'm on a freaking tear with Resident Evil games. So make sure you drop by for that. And sometimes I'll even... Well, I don't stream Monster Hunter, but I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter too. Been playing with the wifey, been having a blast. Don't sleep on Monster Hunter, guys. It's a fun game. But anyways, guys, yeah, make sure you catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/OS_R1CK. I love streaming. I love when you guys drop by and say hello and give me your thoughts on what y'all think, whether it's GPUs, whether it's video games, whether it's the government controlling your rights by deception. Let me know what you think, guys, or just drop by and be silly and have fun, because that's what I like to do. I mean, I love playing video games, but if you guys are here goofing off, being silly with me, it makes it that much more better. Anyways, guys, I'm Rick. Thank you for hanging out for episode 48. We're almost to number 50, believe it or not, guys. I think that's it. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great Saturday. Get some rest. Get some relaxation. Get ready for the work week tomorrow. And if you guys are listening, I want to say again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You want to help out? Word of mouth, tell your buddies. You want to donate something to help out? Like, I'm not trying to live off the podcast, guys. I just want this thing to be self-sustained. All right, guys. Have a good night. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.